Team from the Orlando suburb of Lake Mary is the first win in 9 trips to a Little League World Series final by a team from Florida. That's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 9:59, it's 83 degrees. Time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
He drops to throw. Trevor looks. Fires to the back of the end zone. That ball is caught for the touchdown. In the back of the end zone, Evan Ingram for the score. A 6-yard touchdown pass.
I'm talking wow. Wow, what a throw.
Looking, fires, looks time to the end zone. That ball's going to be caught for the touchdown. Evan Ingram again. He's got 2 scores, and Jacksonville leads it by 2 scores. They hand it to Jackson, running right up the middle. He's into the end zone, touchdown. Jalen Jackson, a touchdown for Jacksonville, a 1-yard touchdown run. Fires for the end zone. That ball is going to be caught for the touchdown in the right corner of the end zone. Elijah Cooks made the catch. A 13-yard touchdown from Jones to Cooks.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, David Garrard, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome in. It is the bye week, I guess, sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
Preseason's done.
We have one of those in the preseason now.
Yeah, practice will continue. Good morning, Tony. How are you?
Doing well.
Kind of an eventful morning already for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
We'll get to that coming up in a minute. DG, how are you?
Doing great.
You're all dancing as we
Oh man,
the show today.
Feeling good. Boys are looking good.
3-0, 3-zip in the preseason for the record. So.
I don't really care about that, but we look really good.
I'd rather win them than lose them.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm with you. It's not the most important thing if you look good, but I like to continue to look good and not have the backups.
I like
give
the
it up.
backups look good too.
Yeah,
so,
everybody look good, and so we'll talk about that today. Dylan Denmark, good morning.
Good morning, Michael.
You're all fired up because Baldwin dominated on Friday night.
Yes, we did.
Is this correct?
Yes, we got in, got out, 1-0.
Business trip?
Yes.
Kind of deal? Well, who you got coming up this week?
We got Palaka. I
Palataka.
like to call him Palataka.
I know you do. That's why I was leaning into that. DG, how'd Fletcher do?
They
this
did
weekend?
great. Played
Did they?
Reebok. Yep.
And
got in, got out.
Close one?
It was not.
It was a close one.
40-something.
Senator's roll.
Yeah, Senator's roll, baby.
Tony, you brought a W back, right?
No.
Oh, dang it.
No.
What?
Reigns is for real, which is something you could say pretty much every year. But
Was that game tied at like 20 at one point? I think I caught that on as I was scrolling Twitter during the Jaguar game.
I mean, it was a one-score game basically through the first 3 quarters, but Reigns took it over in the fourth quarter. 32-23, the final on Friday.
2 of our guys got the job done. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
those guys.
you're welcome.
Thank you very much, DG, and of course, Coach Pocket's in there. All right, so hey, better luck next week for Bowles, and we'll see if Fletcher and Baldwin and all the rest of the kids who won last week and keep their winning streaks going. All right, Jags win. They've got a now 6-game preseason winning streak. And as you said, Dave, it's really not that important.
Look out, Ravens. We're on our way.
It's still kind of cool, to think about it. Over all the years, they haven't won 6 in a row since the 96-97 season. So, it's a pretty good era of Jaguar football that
I wasn't here then.
back to. I know you weren't. It was still pretty good, nonetheless, even with your absence. So we'll get into the 31-0 win. I was looking at a bunch of roster projections this weekend. We're hopeful to have Demetrius Harvey join us this morning, but he was unable to make it, not fitting in his schedule. But he did a roster projection like everybody else and had Trevis Gipson on the roster. Probably imagined him as too deep as one of the edge rushers on this team, right? And look, granted, you got a couple of guys ahead of him. You've got Eric Armstead, who we've yet to see in game action. Granted, he's not a defensive end, but he's got positional flexibility to move around. And then we see this morning, Tone, right before we come on, Rappaport reports the Jags are sending Trevis Gipson, or at least have agreed to send Trevis Gipson to Seattle for a late-round pick. That's the kind of move you make when you don't think that guy's going to make your team. Right? If he is the backup, if he's like the number 3 edge rusher on this team, you're not trading him for a 6th-round pick or a 7th, that can improve to a 6th or whatever this turns out to be.
Not usually, no.
Right? I mean, is this a signal? As I was talking with Dan and Jeff, they brought up the specter of Do they have their eyes on somebody else on the outside coming in? Do they just like somebody more on this roster and we've overlooked that player? What do you think?
I thought watching the game on Friday night and then, seeing it on Saturday when I got to watch it, I was surprised about how early and often Yasir Abdullah was playing on Friday. Like, when they put him out there for the first time, I was like, this is interesting. Like, the timing of it was interesting, and I thought he played pretty well on Friday night. And they were asking him to basically play defensive end, maybe a little bit of outside linebacker, let him rush. When he was playing on Friday, I was like, this is interesting. I don't know what this is about. I don't even know if that explains why they're trading Trevis Gipson at this point. But Yasir Abdullah, we talked about it a lot last week. With the expected decisions they're going to have to make with the 53, I didn't know if Abdullah was on the right or wrong side of the 53 going into year 2 for him. I thought watching the game from Friday night, it made it pretty clear to me he's on the right side of the 53.
Agreed.
Right? Like, that's what it felt like watching it. I don't know if Miles Cole is enough to feel okay, about that guy being in that kind of position. Dave, I look at it, it's hard to explain why you would trade a guy like Gibson, even if it means we feel really good about Yasir Abdullah. It's like, okay, but he's smaller, right? Like, there are things that he just can't do that you would feel like we've all assumed Gibson was going to give them as the direct backup, the first guy coming off the bench whenever Walker or Hines Allen would need a break. I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah.
Right now for the football team, they open that wide open.
Well, I mean, there's definitely something going on. So we may not see it. We may not understand exactly right now, but there's something happening. I think with Abdullah being a guy that they brought in themselves, so they want to continue to give this guy opportunities. And Gibson is just somebody they felt like, maybe was a little bit expendable, but then they can get something for him. Like you said, it doesn't make a lot of sense because you would think he would be one of those guys in the rotation with our D-line being able to get guys in and out. But I'm just thinking, like you said, I think it's something to do with Abdullah. Or, Mike, like you said, maybe there's somebody else they're looking at that they could do something with. And
it's possible.
Whatever, yeah.
Is DJ Coleman a guy that they want to find a way to keep on this team? He's more of the size of Trevis Gibson. At least it's tough to know exactly how big these guys are, right? Because they come in the league, they get listed at whatever, and they never update it, right? But if you look at Trevis Gibson, came into the league, he's like 6'3", 263.
He looks that big.
He does, right? Yasir Abdullah is listed at 240, and he looks like a guy. If he's not 240, he's in the 240s, right? That kind of thing. So there are different types of guys. Doesn't mean they can't both be effective. It just, I don't know anybody who, and I'm not there every second of the day. I'm talking about the beat guys like Demetrius, like John Shipley, who will join us today at 10:40. That didn't think Gibson was right there as the next man up. And I guess, look, maybe it's a case. You've got so many different combinations with these defensive tackles. Maybe they think Mason Smith can play a little end for them. Maybe they think, well, when we rotate some of these other guys in and we take one of Josh Hines Allen or Trayvon Walker off the field, Eric Armstead can slide out for a series.
That has
or
to
a
be
few,
part of it.
Right, it has
to
be.
It requires for them to make this kind of move that they feel okay with a couple of guys that maybe would primarily be interior guys, but can play outside when we need them to.
Correct.
Right? Like, that's part of the answer to whatever this puzzle is that we're trying to put together. But we've gone through the entire offseason since they signed Gibson. We've never said, well, now it's set in stone. They're fine at this position, right? That's never been how we approached where they were with the guys behind their top couple of guys at the edge spot. But it was, we feel okay about Gibson.
We always assumed that's the guy. He's had a little bit of a track record rushing the quarterback.
And a bunch of other stuff where we're like, I don't know.
And I thought he played well. Like, again, I watched, I'll be honest with you, I didn't rewatch all the second half. Okay?
Yeah.
I didn't.
I tried, and
but
then I was like,
I rewatched those first few drives
Yeah.
multiple times, and I thought Trevis Gibson, coming off the edge, was getting some pressure in the backfield. It wasn't a big sack game for the Jags, but, it didn't take much. Your eyes told you Trayvon Walker had a hell of a game.
He sure did.
Trayvon Walker was a wrecking ball. He's getting pressures, got the sack, knocking down a pass, doing a little everything. He looks primed and ready to go. But, Doug's talking about we got a wave of 8 guys that we're going to run at you. And you assumed, or we all assumed, Gibson was going to be one of those guys. It doesn't appear like that's the case. And again, it's one thing. If somebody steps up and says, man, give you a third-round pick, well, okay.
Yeah.
You got to think, all right, how long is he likely to be here? What is he going to give us? What is that third-round pick worth, particularly if we need to package something next year? We got this extra draft capital. You're talking about, like, if they send Gibson and a 7th for a 6th, which this is what this smells like. You know, I don't know if that's the case or not, but if it's something like that, it's like, well, then clearly we were all wrong about how safe he was and whether or not he was even going to make this football team. It certainly seems that way, at least. So anyway, today, if you want to get in, you can definitely weigh in on that, weigh in on the roster cuts that are coming up. I thought Demetrius Harvey's was really cool. I was like, man, I really can't pick many nits on this thing, Tone. I thought that looks a lot like if I were going to project the 53, what I would have on there. Obviously, now this is going to be a big monkey wrench and everybody trying to do that. But John Shipley will join us coming up a little bit later on from Sports Illustrated and weigh in on this bit of a surprise move. He even termed it that in his column that you can check out over at si.com/NFL/Jaguars and check that out there. Also, today's question today, the official one, is simply, what is your reaction to the Jags' 31-0 beatdown of the Atlanta Falcons? Backups, granted, but that's how you handle backups.
You should.
That's right. You go out there and take care of your business, and they did. So we'll talk about some of the highlights of that as we go along today. If you want to be a part of the conversation, 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. Also, that same number for the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can hop in the YouTube virtual studio and post some questions or comments in the chat there if you like, or hit us up on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony. Give us your IG, Dave, because your Twitter's like a ghost town, man. What's
David Garrard _9.
_9. Yep. Okay, it'll only take me 2 more weeks to remember that.
Good.
David Garrard _9. I'm not exactly Instagram
gotta get
active.
my IG, man.
I've got one. It's got a bunch of numbers in it. Like,
I'm a very visual person that I don't want to read what everybody's talking about.
I gotcha. I guess I just I don't need the picture. You're just trying to sway my emotions with that. I just want to see what you're saying about it. And of course, at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
Denmark told me he had a White Claw in his hand by 11 p.m. on Friday night.
Tall boy.
Tall boy.
Tall boy.
Congratulations to you and for Baldwin for giving you that opportunity to celebrate. I got this one from Nick on Twitter this morning, or X. Dear Mike. It's so nice.
Dear Mike.
See, that's why I like to read them, Dave.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're nice. Dear Mike, this beautiful image of Mr. Miller, which we understand is, of course, Urban Miller, right? That is our name for the guy who couldn't remember anyone else's name. This beautiful image of Mr. Miller in Jaguars gear is shown on German television every time there's a commercial break. And there's a picture of him, Urban Meyer, with his little Jaguar logo shirt on, and it has the quote, "I have yet to be in a game where luck was involved." Urban Meyer. Why? Why is this happening? Have the transatlantic cables snapped? Are they not aware? Does the internet not available over in Stuttgart?
I mean, we saw, broadcast in America that plenty of times showed the landing.
True story.
You know, like it took a long
Bit of
time
a
for
black
them to
hole,
stop
Jacksonville
doing
is.
that here in Jacksonville.
That's
so
a good point.
Germany, catch up.
Yeah.
Come on, catch up. It's the 21st century. All right, let's talk about the Jags' performance on Friday, where that leaves them heading into the Miami game to open up the season. We got 2 weeks to go, 13 days from today. They're playing for real. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, David Garrard, and Dylan Denmark. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Grilling stuff.
3 double cheeseburgers with everything.
Fixing stuff.
Let's go to work.
Drinking stuff.
You know a lot about beer. He knows a lot about everything.
1010XL's Man's Man.
Bring it, baby.
Joe Coward. Weekdays 2 to 4 on 1010XL.
Looking for a new vehicle? Take a look at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. Now's the time to save big this summer. Choose from more than 250 new and over 1,000 used and certified pre-owned vehicles on the lot, or shop anytime at JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com. Hyundai has one of the top warranties in the business. Lifetime powertrain and a 5-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, plus 3 years free maintenance on a new vehicle. Give us the opportunity to earn your business today. Atlantic Boulevard, Jacksonville, or visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com. Welcome to the family.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
Hello, I'm Malcolm Anthony. I've been practicing criminal defense law for over 40 years. It's what I love to do, it's what I do well. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW for Malcolm Anthony.
It's a Dreamfinders Homes Monday.
Official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome to ABS, Advanced Business Solutions, your local print management partner and home to Xerox and HP copiers. From IT management to VoIP phone systems, Advanced Business Solutions is the right name to know.
These are the last days for Monahan Jewelers store-wide 50 to 60% off sale. These are the biggest savings we could possibly offer with everything on display, discounted 50 to 60% off, ending Saturday, August 31st. We bought so much brand new jewelry that we need to make room for it, and the only way to do that is to give you huge deals at 50 to 60% off everything. And the sale ends Saturday, August 31st. Diamond jewelry, colored gemstones, gold chains, everything on display is 50 to 60% off at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Mia O'Brien.
Fun-loving girl.
On Helmets and Heels from noon to 2.
Likes to laugh. Lives to love. No dull moments tolerated.
Mia's quick hits are driven by Arlington Toyota on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Are the company's Zoom calls getting boring? Might be a good time to order some new logo caps or temporary tattoos. Check them out online at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
Jags fans, our holiday pack is back with a special edition.
Trevor Lawrence, touchdown!
For the first time, get a limited edition Trevor Lawrence bobblehead plus a ticket to one of our December home games starting at $78. Wow! Whether you're looking for the perfect Christmas gift or want the one-of-a-kind bobblehead for yourself, grab a holiday pack today by going to Jaguars.com/bobblehead or call 904-633-2000 now.
RJ Saunders here, sports lovers. I recently took a tip from Frank Frangie when I needed to send flowers to my mother. Frank told me that Kuhn Flowers is the only florist he ever uses. So that's what I do now. I use Kuhn Flowers. Find them online at kuhnflowers.com.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
Who were the last astronauts who walked on the moon over 50 years ago? The answer next.
Southern Oak Insurance knows that you want to save money on your homeowner's insurance. So why not try some old-fashioned common sense? Ask your Southern Oak agent about our roof replacement schedule. It will save you money.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmidt were the final two astronauts who have walked on the moon.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's our QB. It's a David Garrard Monday on 1010XL. Brought to you by WaterboyJacks.com.
All right, little Monday morning quarterback for you with David Garrard here on Jaguars Today. Jags coming off the 31-0 win over the Atlanta Falcons backups in preseason game number 3. And now we turn the page, and it's 0-0 heading into the regular season against the Miami Dolphins, who have had their own issues, particularly along the line of scrimmage in the preseason. But we've got plenty of time to look ahead to that. Looking back at what happened on Friday night, guys, what did you make of the offensive line? That was a big focal point going into the game. Hard to argue with the numbers for the running backs. Everyone's averaging 5 yards a carry, deep into the game. I thought there were some good holes for Etienne. For instance, Etienne was able to hit top speed and get to like 4 yards past the line of scrimmage before he was getting wrecked, and it just went to show you when he got that head of steam, he was able to turn in a couple of longer runs. Tank Bigsby had a nice run overall. Dave, what do you make of not only the run blocking, but the protection as well?
Well, going into the game, knowing that they didn't have their ones out there, I said to myself, okay, we should look dominant in all phases, which I felt like we did. I felt like the run game it looked good to me. It looked good, but then I kept thinking, okay, how would it look if you were with the ones, these 6-7 yard gains? Are they maybe 2-3 yard gains? And you don't know that, but I felt like that was a good job by our offensive line because there's still grown men out there that you got to push around and open holes for your backs. And I felt like they did. I felt like in the pass game, it was light work. Like they were doing their job. Trevor on both his touchdowns, if y'all look at it, there's nobody around him. He has got good time, and he has got a great receiver in Evan Ingram. My gosh, the second one-on-one with the guy, you would think, like, and I remember hearing their broadcast saying, man, this is like their bigger, like, corner or whatever. Like, he shouldn't be able to just kill him like that. And he just roasted him. He beat him by like 5 yards in the end zone, which is hard to do because you don't have to go anywhere. So I thought overall the offensive line did a heck of a job. Hopefully this galvanizes them to be able to say, you know what, we can do this. Let's get out here in the first game and show that we can do it against ones.
Yeah, that route, Ingram on the first touchdown. The second one, he's just the better athlete.
Yeah, gosh almighty.
Like the first one, that route was like, oh no.
And the pass and the catch, everything.
And I thought it was interesting. We mentioned in the last segment, it caught my attention that they played Yasir when they played him. I thought the first offensive snap of the game on Friday, when, we've had fans forever that have been like, they need a fullback. I was like, oh, look, they got a fullback on the field. Oh, that's Evan Ingram, right? Playing fullback on this play. And I was like, what are they going to do with this formation? Run it behind Evan Ingram was about at the bottom of the list of things that I thought was going to happen, on that play. But that's what they decided to do. And it gives you an idea. We didn't see the first team offense on the field all that much in this preseason. So this week did feel like more of an idea of some of the things they might want to try. And, they did the same thing with Strange when he came in. They played both those guys at fullback a little bit when they went under center, right? They did a little bit of that, which gives you an idea. They're going to do some of that. I don't think it'll be something that's featured in the offense, but it's something they're going to do a little bit of this year. I thought the offensive line overall was good. Sheriff had the bad rep.
Yeah.
And, it got Trevor hit. You don't want to see that kind of thing, but it's a bad rep in that kind of situation. I thought Walker Little had a bad rep, and he looked bad on that rep. But again, look, the guys across from, even if they're not the starter, they're professionals.
Yeah.
Right? And occasionally, professional against professional, they win. You're not going to win every rep in those kind of situations. I thought overall the offensive line played really well. Seeing them all together for the first time, I was a little disappointed that 3rd and 1 turned into 4th and 1. And I can't tell you what exactly went wrong on the play that they didn't convert that opportunity. They converted 4th and 1,
right?
Pretty easily. But 3rd and 1, they didn't make it happen that first time. I was like, that kind of thing. But overall, I thought seeing it all together really for the first time, it looked good.
Yeah, I think first of all, Tom McManus broke down that Walker Little rep pretty well on social media. Why it's like, okay, it's kind of on him, but it's kind of not at the same time. There's so much happening in the span of like 2.5 seconds.
Yeah.
And you miss being able to reach a guy by an inch or two, and all of a sudden, it looks terrible.
That's all it takes.
The Sheriff thing, he just got beat with quickness, like instantaneously.
Yeah.
That was bad to see. Mason Smith had one for us, and then he just whipped the quarterback.
Raised his hands. It was like E.T. running through the
house. Had
house.
it ducked under. I didn't think he expected to be that close to the quarterback that quickly. But, I thought they played pretty well overall. I think it's not really going to matter when you get in against the Miami Dolphins. If you get stuffed on the first 2 3rd and 1s, then people are going to look at this as a big issue. If you have success moving the ball, picking at least your share, you don't have to, like you said, Tone, they don't get that 2nd, 3rd and 1, but they convert the 4th and 1. So they convert the short yardage opportunity, even if it takes 2 tries. Sometimes you go in knowing, hey, if we don't get it here, we're going to do it again. And,
And I can remember week 1 was the last time we saw the starting offense on the field. And I can remember, we were listening to people react to what happened in that game. And we had people saying, I think Tank Bigsby is just faster when he hits the hole. I was like, guys, relax. We know Etienne is fast when he hits the hole. He didn't have the opportunity. There was no space to work in that game. Friday night, he had space. Yeah. And it's pretty clear Etienne's explosive if you give him any kind of room to make anything happen, right? And Tank Bigsby was the guy that was dealing with more, there is a little bit more traffic when I'm trying to run the ball tonight than there is for Etienne. That was the circumstance that both of those guys were dealing with, which we talked about after that week 1 game. This is not the lesson to learn from how well Tank Bigsby played that night. I'm glad he's played as well as he's played throughout the entire preseason for this football team. And he looks like someone who they're going to depend on to some degree. And hopefully he's as reliable as he seems to have been the last 3 weeks for this football team, because they're going to need it, Dave. I think they're going to wind up keeping 3 running backs. And certainly Tank's going to be the first one coming on the field.
Yeah, I just think Etienne just shows you, keeps giving you the glimpses of how dynamic he is. And just when you think, because you hadn't seen me burst out of here in the preseason, you're getting to see it tonight. And then you're able to see Tank, and we've seen Tank have some pretty big games. But a guy like Etienne, you don't want him to expend everything here in the preseason. So give him just enough. All right, we didn't really open up much holes for him in the first 2 games or whatever. He didn't even play in the 2nd game. But the 3rd game, he was like, okay, this is my time to shine. I'm going to get ample opportunity to run the ball. And the one where he squeezed through, I still don't even know how he got through it, but man, he squeezed, because he's so fast when he hits the hole that it closes, but it closes right behind him, and then he is through it, and he looks really good doing it. So that should show our offensive line. If we can just give him little creases, doesn't have to be big gaping holes, just give him little creases, he can get through there and make some huge plays for us this year.
I think his reaction on that second longer run that he had when he went between Cam and Ezra Cleveland, right? And they both they each had a single block, and they held it pretty well, and he darted through there. I think he thought he should have taken that to the house based on his reaction.
The 19-yarder that should have been 30.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it kind of felt like a minimum. It should have wound up being that. And who knows what he would have done with that kind of space running along that sideline.
All right, let's get our man Byron to start. That's a good way to start the week. Byron always brings some positive energy from Gainesville here on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Byron.
Hey, good morning, fam. Happy Victory Monday and many more. And I'd like to just say, Duval! Hey, guys, real quick, I kind of want to shout out coaches this morning, Coach Pocket and Coach DG. And let me start, too, with Lake Mary, man, down there in Florida, man. Shout out to those young kids and their coaching staff. I know this is a football show, but shout out to those young men and also to all the high school players. Good luck to you guys, and everybody stay healthy. And I just want to comment, guys, real quick. It's a wonderful thing to have these problems. I don't know if I can't remember the last time, but Mike, you said the 90s. And David, you were in the 07s or whatever. But I don't remember the last time we had this luxury. And I want to ask you guys real quick. I mentioned the receivers, but also the quarterback room last week. What are you guys' opinion? I think we should keep Mac Jones. I don't want to trade him off for something. I heard that through the grapevine a little earlier. Maybe I was wrong, but I agree with those guys. We should keep a good second-string quarterback. I think it's important. Maybe even keep our third stringer, because, guys, it's a long season. It's about 18, 17 games. It's a dogfight, and we're going to have some players at the end. So I want to keep Mac Jones and keep everybody we can on the roster. Thanks, guys. Go Jags!
Thank you, Byron. Appreciate it. Yeah, look, we talked about this a little bit last week, that unless you're getting something that really moves the needle, why would you give up having that luxury? That's why you went out and traded for Mac Jones, right? And it's one thing, if somebody who's going to give you a first-round pick for him, I'd trade Mac Jones. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You know, he's my backup quarterback.
Thank you for your preseason
I'm hoping he
work.
never plays anyway, right? But, maybe a second-round pick, but you start getting beyond that, and you're like, well, we already have an extra third and a fourth next year. What's more important, the insurance policy? If Trevor has another series of injuries like he did last year and you feel like you can go to this guy, they've got big plans this year. You know, this is not one of those years, the quarterback got hurt. So, I mean, you can't have that excuse. You got the plan in place. You got to get blown away, in my opinion, to move Mac Jones. I don't sense that there's that kind of blown away offer coming from anybody out there.
I think once you see that you've got a team that can actually do some big things this year, you want to make sure that the guy behind your starting quarterback can also come in and do some big things, and Mac has shown that. So I think it behooves the Jags to keep Mac Jones so they can always feel super confident in any situation in the game, because you never know when your quarterback has to come out for a drive or two, and he can step right in and make all the throws. Like you said, the playbook, Mike, doesn't change at all when Matt goes out there. So I think it's big for the Jags to keep this guy.
All right, let's talk about that situation and the Trevis Gipson pending trade to Seattle. That was the breaking news in the hour before we came on the air. John Shipley going to join us from Sports Illustrated. Coming up next, Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, David Garrard, and Dylan Denmark here with you on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
What makes a Honda certified pre-owned vehicle so special? 182-point inspection, 24/7 roadside assistance, first-year free oil changes, and a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty for carefree driving backed by American Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
Jags fans, a new Everbank Performance account could be your ticket to London this October. Through the Everbank London Getaway, one lucky winner and a guest will receive round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and a pair of tickets to see the Jags play in London. To learn more and for official rules, visit everbank.com/London. No person necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of 50 United States and D.C. 18 or older. Entry period for the Everbank London Getaway Suites is from 8/5/24 to 9/5/24. To enter and for official rules, alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Denny Thompson here. If you want to work with new tech security cameras or home automation, Tyson Sound & Security is a growing company looking for you now. Tyson is now hiring for sales, technician, and administrative positions. You'll start at the industry's most competitive pay, and they will train you. Apply online at TysonSoundandSecurity.com or call 762-1000. Tyson Sound & Security hiring sales, technicians, and administrative. Call 762-1000. Equal opportunity employer.
Jaguars Today.
It's a Dream Finders Homes Monday.
We've seen it 1,000 times. Insurance companies using the same tired excuses not to pay. They'll say you're really not hurt, or that your injury is from an old accident. That's why it's so important to hire a law firm who has their own medical experts, who know how to fight excuses with facts. When they bring excuses, we bring the truth. And truth is power. Farah and Farah. Here for you, here for good. Jacksonville.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Fear the Spear.
Plant your spear and get the latest news and notes from Tallahassee.
It's all about Tomahawk Nation on the Seminole Report. Brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team on 1010XL.
Check in Friday on The Frangie Show for the House Call segment, brought to you by Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Rehab. Join the discussion as a JOI expert tells you about concussions and how they're assessed. JOI, where the pros go.
Expert Automotive is ready to keep you cool this summer. Right now, get an AC inspection or a system cooling checkup. Your choice for only $19.99. Their gift to you this summer is $50 off any service and a free tire rotation with any service. Their ASE certified technicians can keep your car cool without breaking the bank this summer. Call them at 374-3373 to get an appointment today. Expert Automotive. They never sell greed, only what you need.
For over 40 years, Play It Again Sports has served its customers with a winning, sustainable shopping model. Could say, we were recycling before recycling was cool. Save on quality used sporting goods for baseball, softball, lacrosse, hockey, golf, tennis, and more. Or sell us your gently used gear. We buy all sports, all seasons, and offer cash on the spot. Stop by Play It Again Sports today on Merrill Road near 295 or online at playitagainsports.com.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting. Hey gang, Hicken here for Zero Res. Man, it is hot outside this time of the year. Many of us are staying inside or going to the pool. Well, my friends at Zero Res are also heating things up. As you know, Zero Res does a great job of cleaning carpets and rugs, but they also clean luxury vinyl planking, tile and grout, fine stone and hardwood floors. And right now, the hottest price of the year, 25% off all hardwood cleaning. That's 25% off tile, LVP, fine stone, and hardwood floors. Zero Res, man, spell it forward. Zero Res, spell it back. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
This is Dr. James Perry, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jaguars dominated the Falcons in their last preseason game on Friday night, winning 31-0. Backup quarterback Mac Jones continued his strong preseason when he replaced Lawrence, leading touchdown drives on 2 of his first 4 possessions. Head coach Doug Peterson spoke postgame about Mac's performance.
You know, Mac has played extremely well on the last couple of weeks and really, you know, is bought into what we do. And you know, he'll still revert back to his Patriot ways every now and then. And we got to remind him he's in Jacksonville. But he's done a good job. He's done a good job managing and running the offense, getting everybody involved. You know, he sees the field well, throws a good ball. So, you know, he's done a good job.
Sound courtesy of Jaguars.com. I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it. It's a David Garrard Monday on 1010XL. Brought to you by WaterboyJacks.com.
Everybody's got their own walk-up music now on the program. Just about, man. You know, got to wait for it. Got to wait for it to kick in. I was, Tone, before we speak with John Shipley, I was a little bit like, am I just this out of the loop? I know I only see half the practices, right, when I go because I got to get back and be on the air, but I'm not the only one who thought Trevis Gipson was a lock to make this roster, and I was happy to see that in reporting for Jaguars on SI, that in the very first sentence, John Shipley used the word surprising this morning via a surprising trade. The Jags making a roster move. Ship, good morning. How are you?
Hey, doing great, my friends. How y'all doing?
We're okay. I mean, Your
53-man roster is a joke.
What a joke, man. How dare you have Trevis Gipson on? I'm sure everyone had Trevis Gipson on it. Chip, this kind of deal that goes down the day before cut day for reportedly a, quote, late-round draft pick. That's the kind of deal you make when you're not going to have that guy on your 53-man roster. Am I right? I mean, how do we all misjudge this situation, or am I wrong about that?
I'm honestly not so sure about it. I think it's a case of DJ Coleman has exceeded expectations. I think he's a guy who's probably going to make the 53 now. Miles Cole's probably a little further along than they thought. And if you look at three of those guys as, just about equal, and you can get the draft pick for one of them because one of them is a veteran who has produced. Seattle just traded Darrell Taylor a few days ago, so it makes sense why, he'd be the one of the three who has any trade value. So I think if they're equal and one of them has trade value, it makes sense to me from their perspective to pull the trigger. So, yeah, I was surprised. I didn't think Trevis Gipson was on the block. I don't even think personally this was a case of Jackson on team something for Trevis Gipson. I think it was a team with a very clear need for a pass rusher, and the Jaguars have a couple young guys they like.
So who will be the first young guy that they like enough to be the third guy in that rotation, with that being the role we all foresaw Gibson having for the team?
I really think it's going to be DJ Coleman, and I obviously could be wrong. I was wrong about an hour into my 53-man projection. Somebody asked me who I was going to put on there in Gibson's place, and I kind of felt like that meme of the Grim Reaper going from door to door. I'm like, do you really want me to give somebody the kiss of death? But I personally think it's Coleman. He was an undrafted free agent last year who was on the practice squad. He's now been with Bill Shuey for 2 years. And, you would hear their coaching staff, really gush about him, really throughout the offseason. And then he's had a solid training camp, a good preseason. He was frequently going out there with Gibson as, the first two rotation guys on the edge, getting Hines Allen and Walker out of the game. I really think it's going to be him to step into that role. But I also think, they're going to use other guys to fill that role. I think you're going to see Eric Armstead play some defensive end. I think you'll see Yasir Abdullah and Chad Muma rush the passer from time to time. So I think it's going to be kind of a collective effort.
Ship, elsewhere, like we see Seattle going, hey, we've got to fill this hole here. Is there a position that if the Jags were to make a move, you think there's one to be made out there? We were talking about this on the post game the other night. I don't know how likely it is that you could add an interior lineman that would really move the needle for this team, because teams don't usually have that kind of surplus at the position. Do you think there is a move, though, that this team could make at any position group, including offensive line?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Yeah, if there was a position group that, I'd say you could see them want to add guys at, and maybe you can see that, after the first waiver transactions, after cut day, I'd say interior offensive line. But you're exactly right. Teams aren't just, letting starting quality interior offensive linemen be available a week before the season starts. The offensive line is very much positioned, you kind of make your bed before the season. You just kind of have to, live in it. So I think interior offensive line would make some sense if there's a guy out there. They did it a couple of years ago when they acquired Cole Van Lanen shortly before the 53-man cut down. So those are the kind of guys I think you would probably get if you did want to make that kind of move. And then even potentially safety. With Andrew Wingard hurt, Trevis Gipson suspended, Daniel Thomas has been banged up a bit, and Darnell Savage, at least from what I've seen, I haven't seen many safety snaps out of him in training camp. I've seen him pretty much exclusively at nickelback, so you might as well consider him a cornerback within the, constraints of the roster. There's not many healthy safeties walking around, so I could see that potentially being a move as well.
John, talking about the interior of the offensive line there, are you surprised that there wasn't more experimentation with Cole Van Lanen playing something outside of left or right tackle, or Hance or Hodges snapping potentially in one of the preseason games that they played? And how much of any of that did you see them doing in training camp with those guys?
Yeah, so I really, you would see during OTAs, Cooper Hodges take some snaps at center. Other than that, you really haven't seen much experimentation. I've pretty much saw Hodges exclusively at right guard in training camp. I think that, I've seen people, do everything they can to get Luke Fortner off the roster and off 53-man roster projections. I've seen people, clamoring for Darrell Williams over him, et cetera. But Luke Fortner's going to make the roster. He's going to be their backup center. I think they just, had already decided, even when they signed Mitch Morse, that's their plan at that position. And then Hodges, he's played, mostly right guard, like I said. Occasionally left guard, not very often. He's somebody who I think it's just clear he's much more comfortable at right guard. Fortner, you've seen time to time take some guard snaps, not in the preseason, but in training camp. So maybe that's a road they would potentially go down, if they have an injury to Ezra Cleveland or Brandon Sheriff. But guard's definitely one of the interesting positions because it seems like, out of their 10 best offensive linemen, it seems like they have more offensive tackles than they have guards, with guys like Cole Van Lannon, Javon Foster, et cetera.
John Shipley here with us. John, understanding they were going against backups on Friday night, but how do you think the offensive line performed?
I think they performed very well. There were, clear rushing lanes for ETN. I thought, Anton Harrison had a really good game, both in pass pro. Obviously had another really nice block in space. There were obviously a few plays here and there. I think there was, one penalty for somebody got too far up the field on an RPO. Brandon Sheriff allowed the quarterback hit. So, it wasn't, say, the perfect game, but it was about what you would hope to see, from your starting offensive line versus the backups. To me, the more important thing was them just playing together as opposed to how they played because, just with all the injuries that have gone on, they have not had many reps together.
How much have your expectations changed, if they have, for Brian Thomas Jr. in his rookie year based on what you've seen from him in training camp and on the field here in the preseason?
Yeah, no, you watch him during, say, the first 2 weeks of training camp and then watch him during joint practices, and it's like it's a different player. Yeah, you could definitely tell early on, there's a lot of thinking going on, a rookie being assimilated. But once games, got closer, once, he was getting live game reps, I think the speed obviously jumps out at you. The way he moves at his size and the way he just glides and eats up ground, he's going to command respect from defenses, I think, week one. So that alone, in my opinion, helps the offense if you can get defenses to back up their coverage a little bit. A lot of teams last year weren't afraid to play one safety against the Jaguars and, kind of press their guys out of the line of scrimmage. So I definitely think he can add that vertical element. My expectations probably increased, honestly, just because of some of the things I've seen him do, outside of just being that vertical threat. That really nice route he had against Tampa Bay. He had the big schemed up play over the middle, against the Falcons, which I thought was a really nice call and showed some good yards at the catch ability by him. So overall, I think you can say that the expectations for him have definitely risen. It's the same problem that, he was facing beforehand where Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram and Gabe Davis are still going to get theirs. I mean, you saw Evan Ingram's chemistry with Trevor Lawrence on Friday with, Christian Kirk off the field. Ingram was the guy he was most comfortable with. And it was like they were perfectly in sync. I think you're going to see that throughout the season with him and Kirk.
John, since we're talking about receivers here, give us your thoughts on the receivers, especially the bottom end guys. Who do you see staying? Who do you see, maybe could there be any surprises?
So I really don't think so. I think they're going to keep between 6 and 7 receivers. And I think who those 6 and 7 receivers are, to me, I think they've made it kind of clear. I don't think Tim Jones is going anywhere in really many scenarios just because, I've seen him continue to be, among the core special team players on pretty much every coverage team. I know he didn't get that down ball against the Falcons, but he's made enough plays in special teams. Plus, they have injuries at the gunner position right now, with Daniel Thomas hurt. Andrew Wingard's a key special teams player. They need core special team guys, and Tim Jones is one of them. I think if they keep 7, I have them keeping 7 in my projection. I think it's Elijah Cooks. They obviously love his potential, the different skill set that he brings to the receiver room, and I'm not sure they would want to subject him to waivers because he has put some plays on film, in the last 2 preseasons.
Ship, keep 8. We got an open spot now. We get, let's have some fun. Let's play around with it. John Shipley does a great job covering this team, Jaguars on SI. You can find John out there on the X platform at _John_Shipley. Ship, expecting it to be all quiet on the Western Front now, at least until cut down tomorrow afternoon officially? Or do you think the Jags might have one more surprise in them?
Well, I thought it was already going to be quiet, hence my coming out today instead of tomorrow. That was the first thing I said to my wife. I was like, I probably should have released this tomorrow. So lesson learned for next year.
Yeah, all right, brother. Well, we'll see. That one caught us by surprise, but you make some good cases, particularly for DJ Coleman's emergence, so we'll see if that's the way they play it on the roster. We appreciate you jumping in this morning, bro, and look forward to catching up with you as the season kicks off.
I appreciate you, fellas.
Thank you, buddy. There he goes, John Shipley from Jaguars on SI. weighing in. So we'll see if that's the case. I understand if you feel like they're all on that same level, but I guess the impression I got was that Gibson was a little bit ahead of these other guys. And, at what point is getting a late round pick that, granted, maybe it turns into Cam Little-esque player. Maybe it turns into Keelan Robinson, who's never healthy, or any number of guys who never have played it down in the National Football League.
I think the combination of everything we've kind of talked about in that regard is why they've made the decision, right? I think they're comfortable with Armstead or Smith playing a little bit of defensive end for them if they're asked to do that kind of thing. And it does feel like I don't think we can get this guy to our practice squad. How do we do this?
You mean DJ Coleman?
Yeah, one of these guys. It feels like I don't know how we get this guy to our practice squad, but we don't want to let him go, right, at this point. And they're looking at a veteran player who might be, just by an edge, their best of those options going into the year. But we like the young guy. Like, how are we going to make this kind of thing happen? And it might have been as simple as, well, if we keep Coleman, that means we probably need to go down to 6 receivers, right? And they might be doing the same kind of math with a guy like Cooks. Like, it does feel that's where these roster decisions happen. Seattle comes in and says, yeah, we'll give you whatever it's going to wind up being, a 6th, 7th round pick. It winds up being for Gibson, and teams like, okay. It at least makes the roster decision they're going to have to make a little bit easier. Whether or not it's the right one, again, like we talk about with these kind of things all the time, time's the answer to that. We don't know.
It is interesting to try to guess which side approached the other here. I'm not saying that Balky was shopping him, but, Seattle traded away Darrell Taylor and created a hole on their own team.
Yeah.
And in doing so, do they say, okay, let's look and find for that replacement? Or do you say, I think it might be more likely that you sit here and go, well, like Tony's saying, we like this young guy. The only way we can get him on here is if we move one of these other guys who might have a need for this. And, if they got whatever they got for Taylor, if they're paying less for Trevis Gipson, they feel like it's a reasonable replacement that they're winning in the draft pick compensation game. All right, if you want to get in, 641-1010. We appreciate John Shipley joining us from Jaguars on SI. We'll go into hour number 2 with David Garrard, looking back at the 31-0 win for the Jags and the dealing of Trevis Gipson, or at least agreeing to deal him to the Seattle Seahawks for reportedly a late-round draft pick and what that means for the Jaguars pass rush. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL.
This is Kyle Busch. The Candyman comes. Kyle Busch gets it done at Charlotte. He is now won everywhere.
And you're listening to 1010XL Jack Sports Radio.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Chelsea here. Summer is winding down, and so are prices at the Renewal by Anderson end of summer window and door sale. Upgrade your home with custom Fibrix windows and doors. Whether you need custom energy efficient, hurricane resistant windows, or a stylish patio door, we've got you covered. A better way to a better window. Visit us at bestwindowsflorida.com for details. Transform your home before fall with the end of summer sale. Proud partner of the Florida Gators. License number CGC 1527613.
Hicken here for Bout 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bout 9. Visit Bout 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bout 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Dreamfinders Homes, Monday.
On Jaguars Today.
911, what's your emergency?
Help, we don't have air conditioning.
Ma'am, 911 is for emergencies only.
Well, my husband's trying to stuff himself in the refrigerator.
I see. Well, maybe you should call Duck Duck Air Conditioning.
To get him out of the fridge?
To get get a new AC system.
Beat the Florida heat with Duck Duck Air Conditioning, Jacksonville area's AC experts. For service, repairs to new installations, trust the Duck. DuckDuckAC.com.
Lauren Brooks here. Circa Resort and Casino has an incredible all-in package for Duval in December. For only $500 tax and resort fee included, get a 3-night stay at Circa, $200 food and beverage credit, plus a day bed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive screen, it's the world's largest hot tub party. Join us Heels Friday night for a Jacksonville pep rally with specials and giveaways. To book the Jacksonville Game Day Getaway and join the Heels in Vegas, visit circalasvegas.com today.
Injured in an accident? Have mounting medical bills? Can't work? Don't worry. Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan of Von Rowan Law. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve. Set up your free consultation at zachsgotyourback.com.
If you're searching for a new fence installation, challenge yourself to find a fence company with more positive online reviews than Superior Fence and Rail. With over 3,000 reviews and a 4.9 out of 5 review range, Superior Fence and Rail is, well, superior. So take the online challenge or let their professional team show you what superior service looks like. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Welcome to ABS, Advanced Business Solutions, your local print management partner and home to Xerox copiers. From IT management to VoIP phone systems, Advanced Business Solutions is the right name to know.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
Hey, Hicken here. I want to talk skin along with my friends at Peaches Dermatology, reminding you to wear your sunscreen. Football season is back, baby. And with that, days under that bright sun. So when you load up that truck for the game day tailgate, or the chairs for your kids' flag games, or even the boat heading downtown to watch our Jags, make sure you bring the screen. Sunscreen, that is. It's a must here in Duval. But if you have any concerns right now, give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
Here's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. FSU's loss to Georgia Tech was in large part due to their ability to run the ball, according to head coach Mike Norvell.
That rushing offense was number one, rushing offense in the league a year ago, and they returned everybody, and they've got a lot of dynamic players.
Florida Gators picked up their 14th commitment of the class of 2025 on Sunday evening from a big in-state prospect. 4-star receiver Nashawn Montgomery from Miami committed to Florida over LSU and Penn State on Sunday. ESPN announced that Florida basketball and Wake Forest will play on Thanksgiving Day as part of the ESPN Events Invitational. Minnesota and Wichita State are also part of the Invitational. Championship game will be played the following day. That's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 10:57, it's 85 degrees. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler, Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Not just Monday, David Garrard Monday on 1010XL. Brought to you by WaterboyJacks.com.
Yes, another season with DG at the helm here on a Monday morning quarterback kind of show here on Jaguars Today. The preseason is done. Regular season 13 days away from kicking off, at least for your Jaguars. Regular season will kick off in, I guess, 10 days on that Thursday night game. But, Dave, somebody asked about a play that we were all just kind of, our jaw was on the floor a little bit. But what did you think? This is on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. What did David think about that laser Trevor Lawrence throw to Parker Washington, the one where Parker slid down, caught it, immediately popped back up? But really the appreciation of the play comes from watching the behind the quarterback view on that. What did you make of that throw?
I mean, it's an amazing play. That is a play being thrown by a quarterback that has just so much confidence in his arm, in his ability. And that happens when you're in a game and things are going your way and you're making all your passes. You can make those kind of passes like that. And those are the things that you want to get your quarterback doing, especially in preseason. Try these things in preseason. Try these things in practice so you can see what works and what doesn't work. And, sometimes the windows are small, and you got to be able to fit that ball through there. And he did. And it was a laser right on his guy, and a great catch by Parker Washington, too.
I mean, it was a nice catch, and he was able to pop right up. And Parker Washington had a heck of a preseason for himself going out there. But that, like you said, that throw is all about confidence, man. I mean, the two defensive players are closing in on the ball, and it's like they probably couldn't imagine how that ball got by him without being able to bat it down.
Yeah, I mean, when you got, superior arm strength and you can, throw balls through guys' hands almost where they're trying to squeeze on it, but they don't even touch it, and it still gets through, and it's still complete for somebody to have the confidence behind it, is also impressive because it's tough when arms are swiping at the ball, covering your face, going, by, and you still can make that play. He made the play, throwing it, and like I said, I'm always going to give the receiver a little bit more props because the receiver has to make me look good, and he did.
Yeah. What does having a guy that can do the things physically that Trevor can do, right? Like he's not afraid to try that kind of play. What does that do for the wide receiver group, the guys that are running these routes? Like, just how does it affect what is happening on the field?
Well, you'll have receivers never giving up. You'll have receivers running their route, and they, sometimes you'll feel like you're covered, which most receivers don't ever feel like they're covered. But sometimes defenses do a pretty good job. But the receiver is still going to be ready for that ball to be delivered in some form or fashion, whether it's behind me, high, low, whatever it is, because they feel like their quarterback can make the throw anywhere and throw them open, get them a pass that they can get their hands on. As long as they feel like they can get their hands on it, then they feel like they should catch it. And this is a quarterback that can do it no matter where you are on the field, no matter how far down the field, how short, how tight the DB is, no matter what. He's always got a chance to get you the ball.
All right, a couple others here on the text line. Is there no chance they're negotiating with a proven designated pass rusher behind the scenes? Yeah, there's a chance of that. Absolutely. Yeah. We would not know that. Because it would be behind the scenes. But
like, I'm still at this point, and I know he's saying, are they going to sign Jan? That's essentially what is that. And
sure.
I don't think they will.
I
don't think
either.
Jan's willing to accept the role he'd have here.
Right, because he's never accepted that role so far.
Right. Like, I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world for him to be willing to accept that role. Yeah. I would love it. I just don't expect that to be the way this whole thing plays out.
I don't either, but it does. Let's just play the hypothetical game. If you were going to do that, you'd want to make this move ahead of time, right? Rather than then maybe Seattle goes, maybe they're just going to cut Trevis Gipson and let's just wait, a day or two. Although, that game, people always say, why would you trade anything for a guy who's going to get cut? Because you may not be the one he chooses to sign with if he's a vet who doesn't have to clear waivers, or if he does, you may have some other team claim him. You can't guarantee that he's going to come to you. The other one here I wanted to reflect on, the mystery to me is what happened to Joshua Cephas. He was the talk of mini camps. People made videos of him. Then I don't remember even seeing him in a preseason or at least catch a pass. Very weird. To me, this is like off-season hype 101. Kevin Austin, anybody? I mean, how many wide receivers have to come through here that are undrafted that you're like, man, he's lighting up a rookie minicamp? Okay, great. There are reasons these guys go undrafted. And you're like, I don't know the specific reasons why Joshua Cephas didn't perform well in the preseason, but it's not surprising to me that an undrafted player who's getting buzz in mini camps and OTAs in that setting isn't performing at the same level in training camp, because we've seen it play out a million times around the league.
Yeah, it's tough for some receivers because they're good at certain things. They're not good at everything. And if your opportunity shows itself, but you don't seize it at that moment, they're like, man, we've got so many of you. So it doesn't take but one or two drops or bad body language, whatever it is that we may never see, but it affects that player and it affects the coach's minds, and they make a decision off of that.
Let me ask you, how much do you think that play by Elijah Cooks to get his knee down in bounds, right? Like if it comes down an inch out of bounds, it's almost the same play, but it's not, right?
Yeah.
And how much do you think that play, if he does ultimately make the 53, contributed to that kind of wipes out the negative with the drop he had and the penalty he had last week? Could one play be that important in roster position?
Well, you can look at it both ways, just like you said, an inch here or there. I felt like, first of all, it was a great catch. Good job getting your knee down, but I don't almost feel like he knew that his knee was coming down in bounds. The fact that he didn't try to get his toe down with his other foot, that was a little bit disappointing, but I thought, great catch. You are showing your size and ability and what you can do, but you still want to show that you can try to get both feet in bounds, because I don't know that he knew his knee was in. It was so close to the sideline.
Yeah.
I was a little concerned at first.
He got it in,
He
and
did.
we'll see. Most people now projecting that he'll make the team.
Yeah.
We'll see. If he doesn't catch that pass, or people making that same projection, I don't know if they are. Now, that doesn't mean the team who sees him every day in practice doesn't feel a certain way about him. But, hey, look, we'll find out tomorrow around 4 p.m. officially. I think Doug Peterson's going to speak later on today.
11:40-ish.
Is that what it is, Dylan, 11:40?
Yes, I think so.
So that's what Mia pointed out. So maybe we'll get a little clarity on this pass rusher situation. It could be as simple as John Shipley said. They like some of the young guys.
Yeah.
Didn't have room for everybody. Saw an opportunity. Went ahead and got a draft pick.
Yeah, Doug and Trent talking tomorrow when all the roster stuff gets done, too. So we'll hear from Doug a couple days in a row here.
Let's get Regina in Mandarin at 641-1010 on the Garber Automall phone lines. Regina, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Happy Victory Monday, even though it was just preseason.
It's all right. We'll take it.
I have me too. 2 comments and a question for David. Number 1, it was fun, exciting to watch everyone working so efficiently. Number 2, I held my breath when Trevor went down. It was a penalty, roughing the passer.
Mm-hmm.
And, we watched it again on replay. And number 3, I have to give a shout out to Doug Peterson. I think he orchestrated preseason camp brilliantly to get this team to this point. And the question I have for David, is there such a thing as the refs giving quarterbacks some agency, like, knowing how to play? Like previously, you mentioned this, Mike, on the post-game show with J.P. Cedric, that quarterbacks don't always get those hits, as that.
They don't always
Trevor
get that call. Yeah. That's what I meant. So I'll take your comments off the air and go Jags. Appreciate it, Regina. The point I was making is that, many times we're like, okay, we see our defense get a hit, it's a penalty, and we're like, all right, technically by the rules, that's a penalty.
Yeah.
You kind of grumble. And then you don't necessarily see our quarterback get protected in the same way. So I'm hoping this is a sign, and it was pretty obvious, low hit right in the middle of the field. But I'm hoping that, Trevor Lawrence plays. I don't know if he's at that stage yet, Dave, but what do you think? I mean, there's certainly something to quarterbacks. The more they become established, I believe, start to get more calls.
Yeah, the more cachet you have, the more calls you'll get. Also, it depends on the type of quarterback you are, too. If you're a quarterback who tends to stay in the pocket more, gets the ball out, throws it a lot more, doesn't use your legs as often, they'll give you a little bit more of those calls. If you're a guy who's tough nose, hard to get down, Lamar Jackson, he's not a physical running guy, but he's a runner of the ball. Richardson is another quarterback who – they're physical guys, so they're going to give the defense more opportunity to get, I guess I would say, harder shots in. But the league in general is a very nice, cozy way to play quarterback nowadays. It is is definitely different from when I played. And, it's like 20 years ago almost. Gosh,
Look, people could hit Cam Newton any way they wanted to.
Yeah.
Cam Newton almost never got flagged because he's big. He can
because
he can
you can take so many shots and knock guys off or get out of tackles. Right. So they want to give you the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
And so sometimes they don't look at it as, oh, that was an illegal hit on that guy because 5 plays ago he just did this whirly bird and got out of something and shook a guy off and gave a stiff arm and scored from 50 yards away. So I think Trevor is becoming more of the quarterback where they don't want to see him get beat up in the pocket. So if there's something illegal that is happening, they'll give him a chance. He's not like a guy that's going to get out of a situation in the pocket like Caleb Williams has done a few times. So everybody gets calls a little bit differently. It should be the same for everybody, but it's not.
Well, and it's a protected enough position now, right? The league has circled offense and specifically the quarterback as this is what we want to protect, right? Pretty much at whatever cost they're willing to pay. And what it's created is, look, I know NFL fans have been willing to make fun of soccer forever. NFL quarterbacks have learned to be the diva. Right? Like they've learned
you gotta be a good actor.
Right. When the guy touches you anywhere, you act to let the official know he hit me.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's part of the job of playing quarterback in the league now. That wasn't part of the job 20 years ago.
No.
Right? Like the official saw it or you didn't see it. In today's NFL, whether you thought it was enough contact to actually warrant a flag, you have to give the official a reason to throw the flag. Like that's just part of today's NFL game.
And it was that way when I played as well, but you just didn't get a lot of those calls. So you had to be a really good actor. Nowadays, if you're just if you're smart and you're a guy, like I said, that doesn't shed guys in the pocket and all that kind of stuff, you will get a lot more of those calls.
I've seen Josh Allen do it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I've seen him when the guy just the hand kind of glazes across the top of the helmet.
Go crazy.
And he'll go nuts. Like he'll be his arms are flailing.
And you hate it when it's on the other team, but you want those calls.
Absolutely.
So, whatever it takes to get them. Like Regina's point about Doug Peterson orchestrating the preseason really well, it's easy to say that now, and this is not a shot at Regina at all. It's like, that one play could have ruined your entire preseason. And that's nothing. That's not Doug Peterson's fault. He's out there. He's got his number one offensive line against backups out there, and Guy is trying to make a play to make his team and comes diving in there and can blow up your entire season on that one play. So in large part, to me, the Jags seem to perform well, and you always feel good about that. And they, for the most part, stayed really healthy, at least during the games. They didn't have those major injuries. So when that happens, you look at it and you go, okay, good plan, right? And that whole plan could have got blown up in one snap, and the whole season can always get blown up in one snap, unfortunately. That's the nature of the National Football League. All right, we'll come back more with David Garrard. Your call is welcome at 641-1010. Jags agreed to trade Trevis Gipson, who many thought would be the number 3 edge rusher for this team, and he'll be shipped off to Seattle for what is reportedly a late-round draft pick. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
1010XL.
I suggest we use it.
Jacksonville Sports Empire.
It is your destiny.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
At Garber Auto Mall, we can wiggle it. Best price, we can wiggle it. Best trade value, we can wiggle it. Best payment, we can wiggle it. Ford, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. With 8 American brands, we can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or online at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is Tony Baselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410.
Jaguars Today Monday is built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey gang, Hicken here for Zero Res. Man, it is hot outside this time of the year. Many of us are staying inside or going to the pool. Well, my friends at Zero Res are also heating things up. As you know, Zero Res does a great job of cleaning carpets and rugs. But they also clean luxury vinyl planking, tile and grout, fine stone and hardwood floors. And right now, the hottest price of the year, 25% off all hardwood cleaning. That's 25% off tile, LVP, fine stone, and hardwood floors. Zero Res, man, spell it forward. Zero Res, spell it back. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Hacker here, and let me give it to you straight. Here's what happened. I saw Mike and Matt lose weight pretty quickly and pretty easily with Awaken 180. Of course, I'd been griping about my weight for a long time, so I asked if they could put me in touch with Awaken 180. They each said yes. It'd be perfect for me. So I ended up on a call with Paige, the owner of Awaken 180 Weight Loss. By the end of that call, my only question was, what's the catch? Awaken 180 sounded too good to be true. Eat to lose weight? No meds? No workouts? Really? Paige just smiled through the phone and said, there is no catch, Hacker. Awaken 180 works. I was skeptical, but intrigued. After the first week, I was sold. I dropped 19 pounds, and now 90 pounds later, I'm almost to my goal. The amazing part, and a main reason I chose Awaken 180, Mike and Matt both said the weight has stayed off. If losing weight is your goal, I suggest having the same conversation I had with Awaken 180. Schedule yours today at awaken180weightloss.com.
He used to cover the Jags. Now he's a CBS Sports senior NFL writer.
Well, I believe you got everybody's attention.
He's Pete Prisco. Friday afternoons on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
Lauren Brooks here to congratulate my friends at Big Chief Tire. For the 5th year in a row, Big Chief Tire was named the best tire center in Jacksonville for excellence in tire services. Big Chief Tire has served the Jacksonville community for over 60 years with quality tires, brakes, repairs, alignments, and more. Big Chief is known for fair prices and honest service, and they've built a reputation for treating customers like family and offering reliable solutions to keep vehicles safe and running smoothly. Visit BigChiefService.com.
Wondering what you're going to do for dinner tonight? Southern Steer Butcher is a full-service butcher that offers take-and-bake side options that are oven-ready.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball presented by FIS is home this week at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark. Everbank Teacher Appreciation tomorrow. Then it's 5-Star Good is Everywhere Wednesday. Don't miss Coors Light Thirsty Thursday. And the weekend of Boom with fireworks Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Baseball all week and weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball. Affordable family fun.
I-9 Sports wants to make sure kids all over the First Coast can enjoy growing up on a field or in a gym. And right now, fall and winter registration is open. Find out what I-9 Sports offers across Duval, Clay, and St. John's. I9Sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
Homeowners, good news for you. Accent on 4. Listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Prosser here. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted. So low, we haven't seen them in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.99% APR. So whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in process with another lender, stop now. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days. with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Call 904-999-1508. Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781. Owner Approved Credit, NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting. 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL with David Garrard. Brought to you by WaterboyJacks.com.
Dave bringing it so strong, we figured we'll give him next Monday off. It all just dawned on us. Like, this is the last one until the first, what we hope is an official victory Monday, because next Monday's Labor Day.
You guys are so nice. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we'll just take the day off. We were going to work otherwise, but because of you, we will take the day off with you there, DG.
Thank you.
David Garrard here with a 641-1010. If you'd like to weigh in on the Jags 31-0 victory on Friday or the preseason overall. The news this morning that the Jags have agreed to trade Trevis Gipson, who many projected to be the first edge rusher off the bench. He's going to Seattle for a late-round draft pick. John Shipley joined us earlier and thinks that it's a case of they like some of the young guys and that the separation isn't that great and didn't know if they'd be able to get him to the practice squad, so we'll find out if that's how it plays out. Doug Peterson speaks in about 20 minutes. I'm sure we'll get asked about that prominently today. And he and Trent Baalke will speak after the Jaguar cutdowns tomorrow as well. 641-1010 on the Garber Automall phone lines. Darren is up next here on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Darren.
Good morning, guys. I'm very optimistic about the season, but I know as of last year, we started off 8-3, and it seemed like it was a little smoke and mirrors. Are we going to be talking 4 weeks into this very brutal schedule to start off with the 3 out of 4 playoffs and 3 out of 4 on the road? I'm just really concerned that after preseason, that are we going to be talking about the same two Achilles heel, pass rush and offensive line? And I don't know that I'll be able to give Trent Baalke a passing grade as much as he's done good that I really like. And I've been on the Baalke train this past year and a half, but I'm just really concerned. And now with them trading Gibson, those are my two big concerns are we going to be scratching our head after 4 weeks? Please talk me off the cliff on these two suggestions here, guys.
Now, I can't talk you off a cliff that hasn't happened yet.
Results, the results will get you off that cliff or they won't.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's going to be great in either category. That's why we're going to play the season now. Yeah. All right, we've gotten to this point. But clearly the Jaguars are aware of where they've been deficient. Right? I don't think they're stupid people. Right? Mm-hmm. And no matter what you say, you reach a certain level in your profession. Everyone's a dummy. This guy's a dummy. No, they're not. Right? And does that mean that every move they make works? But in this case, I don't think Trent Baalke just decided to trade Trevis Gipson without input from Doug Peterson.
This will fire up the
or
fans.
to make
Ryan
us
Nielsen.
weaker in this.
Right, and say, we need pass rush, but let's see what happens if we trade one of these
Everyone's
guys.
been talking too nice about me. Let's stir things up.
I mean, I think John Shipley's theory probably holds some water. Either A, they're looking at bringing somebody else in, or B, they're content with the pieces that they have at that position, or C, they've got guys who can play multiple positions, and they think that, again, if this market wasn't there, would Trevis Gibson be on the team tomorrow? I think there's still a great chance that he might have been, because if you're a little bit better, but then again, how do you balance it? You know, you want to play for this year, but you also have to develop guys for the long haul. Hey, we got to develop our draft picks. We got to develop young guys. We got to stop this train of signing free agents. Well, the way to do that is to develop the young guys, right? And you can't develop them if you expose them to waivers and somebody else claims them. And maybe that's what the fear is.
And I don't think it's crazy to look at the way everyone's played to this point and think, well, the gap's really not that big.
I think it's surprising. I don't think it's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I think, because I don't think Trevis Gipson has played poorly.
No.
Like, I think he's flashed.
He's been okay.
He's been around. He's gotten some pressure, and I've noticed 50 out there to the point where I knew what his number was, and I don't know everybody's number. But I'm like, okay, I'm used to seeing 50 coming off the edge and getting some pressure. So, I mean, look, these are particularly the offensive line. That's been a big question. But they committed to a plan, and you have to let them see their plan through.
Yeah, I think after this offseason, after this preseason, Jaguar fans should be optimistic. And then once the real bullets start flying, then you can start deciding whether or not it was just fool's gold or you actually have gold. So you can't jump off a ledge now for what?
Yeah.
I mean, after looking really good all preseason, now you want to start, you're letting demons come into your brain and start to manipulate you and think, man, maybe this is too good to be true. Are we still the same old Jaguars with the same problems? And we could be, but I'm going to give my guys an opportunity to show me that they either are or they're not before I start to work myself up.
Agreed. All right, let's go around the rest of the National Football League.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
The Miami Dolphins are placing 3 players on their PUP list to begin the year. Linebackers Bradley Chubb and Cam Good, and offensive lineman Isaiah Wynn, according to head coach Mike McDaniel, who also said today that they will obviously be missing the first 4 games, but that Odell Beckham Jr., they're still trying to figure out whether or not he will start the season on the PUP list there for the Dolphins. That obviously affects the matchup week 1. Kansas City is signing wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. Cincinnati wide receiver Jamar Chase, who has been part of a hold-in situation through the Bengals training camp, participated in practice for the first time yesterday. Detroit has removed defensive lineman DJ Reader from their PUP list. Los Angeles Rams linebacker Ernest Jones has been granted permission by the team to seek a trade after contract talks between the two sides have stalled. New York Giants defensive tackle Timmy Horn suffered a torn Achilles and has been placed on the team's injured reserve list. Get well, E.T. And Baltimore Ravens offensive line coach Joe D'Alessandris passed away yesterday at the age of 70. He left the team on August 10th, was checked into the hospital with an acute illness that required him to step away from the job. The Ravens organization and head coach John Harbaugh both released statements yesterday on Joe's passing.
All right, thank you, Tony. 641-1010 if you want to get in and weigh in on the Jags' performance on Friday night. I think, depends on what you're looking for. I don't put it this way. I'd rather be in a position where, but it was against backups, but you handled them.
Yeah.
Then, damn, we did that against backups. Yeah. And we're trying, we've had many of those preseasons where we're like, we weren't game planning or we weren't scheming for them. Or how about just go out there and be better than the people you're lining up against? And they clearly were on Friday night, and they handled their business.
We've had that opportunity before where we've had our starters going up against backups. Maybe they started off with the 1s, but then they brought the 2s in, and you're like, we have not elevated ourselves.
We haven't dominated, at least. Yeah.
Like it still looked the same as if we're playing the 1s.
On this team is questionable,
with the 1s.
Yeah. It feels like the depth on this team is pretty good. I mean, when the Jags backups came in, they kept it rolling.
They kept it rolling. They didn't let them score. We kept putting points up. I thought we did exactly what I would have wanted to see out of our team going into that game, playing against backups.
Right, and again, it doesn't mean that when Miami takes the field that you expect the same level of dominance. At least I don't. But, Bradley Chubb, not that he was ever expected to be ready. No. Going on the PUP list officially means he won't play in that opener. That's a big player. Isaiah Wynn is projected as their starting left guard. Now, he hasn't been available, and so it's not like this is an unexpected absence, but it's an absence nonetheless.
Yeah.
Again, Nick Chubb, if you paid any attention, you knew he wasn't going to start the season healthy, but he goes on the PUP list. That means he's got to miss the first 4 games. That's who you play in week 2, the Cleveland Browns. So I'll take it. I don't care. You know what I mean? I hope when we play Kansas City, in the AFC Championship game, Patrick Mahomes has a hangnail. Doesn't bother me. I'd rather beat them with their best. Okay, as long as you beat them, sure.
Yeah.
Right? But I'd rather beat them with their worst than lose to them with their best. I just want to win,
What's been up with Armstead? Has he just been held out?
He's been cleared. He's returned to practice, coming off the meniscus cleanup this offseason. And so they brought him back to practice, but feeling that he's a vet. He's in his early 30s. Okay. He's been around.
Yep.
He knows how to get himself ready.
Yep.
Now, does that mean he'll be ready for a full complement of snaps to begin the season? Maybe not, but he'll be out there.
Yeah.
And you would anticipate him starting against the Miami Dolphins and just ramping up from that point on. So healthy, knock on wood, and let's keep them all that way. One segment to go if you want to weigh in. The Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. Just ask for your reaction to the Jags 31-0 win over the Atlanta Falcons, and you get the bonus of Trevis Gipson apparently getting dealt to the Seattle Seahawks for a late-round draft pick. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jennifer, Luxury has a new address in Jacksonville.
Oh, do tell, John.
Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard. We've got over 40 Cadillac Lyrics in stock.
40? That's incredible. Any color you want?
You bet. Pick your color and drive away today. Plus, we're giving away a free home charger with every Lyric.
Fantastic. Anything else?
How about a car you'll never have to change the oil on?
No oil changes ever? Now that's luxury.
Randy Marion Cadillac, where Jacksonville meets luxury.
Visit us today on Southside Boulevard and tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Meet Abiana, talking about her experience with BioTarget regenerative therapy at injury care centers.
I started doing the BioTarget therapy for plantar fasciitis, and I noticed an improvement immediately. It was almost impossible for me to put my feet down to take a proper step. After the first treatment, I was able to actually walk and do so without limping. I kind of felt like because they were offering a money-back guarantee, it made me feel like they're sure the treatment would definitely work. I would definitely recommend this treatment to anybody that I know because it works.
Stop masking your pain with harmful medications. There's a better solution. BioTarget regenerative therapy has helped countless others, and it can help you too. Call 904-92-REGEN or visit gobiotarget.com today.
Facing a DUI charge or even a boating under the influence charge? Well, I'm your man, DUI lawyer Malcolm Anthony at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW. Once again, 285-4LAW.
Dream Finders Homes Monday on Jaguars Today.
Here's Ben and John Lupo, owners of Beards Diamonds.
It's funny, my dad has sold people engagement rings, and now I'm selling their kids engagement rings and anniversary gifts and birthday gifts.
We're blessed with the relationships we've built over the years.
Check out our full inventory at beardsdiamonds.com.
Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Weekends were made for sports, and I'll tell you my take on this weekend's best options. Pick it here. Watch for Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan is brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
If the Florida heat is getting you down and you're sweating up a storm, fire up a phone call to Florida Home AC and order an AC tune-up. It's the best way to beat the heat and keep your AC unit working at peak performance. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com for their tune-up special and make sure you're primed for the peak of that heat. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and just a phone call away at 777-4300. Order that tune-up today.
Jeff Lagerman here. Now that football season is here, make sure your ride can get to that tailgate or away game safely and dependably. You can trust the ASE certified professionals at any of the 27 independently owned Napa Auto Care Centers and the quality Napa parts they use. Napa Auto Care Centers can handle everything: oil changes, air conditioning, brakes, engines, transmissions, and more. Napa Auto Care offers a nationwide 24-month, 24,000-mile peace-of-mind warranty on most repairs. Find a Napa Auto Care Center near you. JacksNapaAutoCareGroup.com.
How far is it from the surface of the earth to the core of the earth?
Is your home your most valuable asset? It is for most of us, and Southern Oak Insurance recommends an annual review. Log on to southernoak.com for more information.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
From the surface to the core of the earth is about 1,800 miles and has a temperature of over 9,000 degrees, hotter than the sun.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours. If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
With Labor Day savings at the Home Depot, you can upgrade your home with up to $1,500 off select appliances from top brands like Whirlpool. Enhance your kitchen with quality and convenience from Whirlpool, like the freestanding electric range with built-in air fryer and the tall tub dishwasher with third rack, all available at the Home Depot. Right now, shop Labor Day savings up to $1,500 off select appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid August 22nd through September 11th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jags showed up against the Falcons Friday night in their third and final preseason game. Quarterback Trevor Lawrence gave the team an early lead, throwing 2 touchdown passes. The Jags defense locked down the Falcons, keeping them scoreless the whole game. Coach Peterson shared how proud he was of the team post-game.
I thought both offensively and defensively, the starters did a nice job, coming in. And it's always tough, I know, when, on those guys, because you just don't know how long you're going to play. But for them, especially offensively, to come in and get the 2 scores like they did and put some good drives together early, was good to see. And then defensively, the same way, being able to get those stops and, come off the field. And even when the backups and the young guys played, they played hard and fast. And, proud of everybody, the way they competed tonight.
Sound courtesy of Jaguars.com. I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, cooling it down here. Looking back, the Jags did not cool down on Friday night. They played very well and gave you mostly what you wanted to see. Trevor Lawrence led the first-team offense on 2 sharp touchdown drives. Got him out of there. Got him out unscathed. The offensive line opened some holes. Granted, we understand, as for the 2 or 3 people who are screaming like we don't know, it was against backups. Yeah, we understand that, but would you rather them not open holes against backups? So did what they could to get ready for the regular season. A couple of things before we move on here, get a couple more calls in and give you some final thoughts. Thank you to everybody who donated to my Pros with Joe's charity league that's going on. We hit our goal of raising $1,000 for the J Fund, which is awesome. And whoever, the winner of that is, will team up and will co-manage a team against some of the best analysts in the industry. Also, if you are planning on playing in a Jaguars Today league, tomorrow's the deadline. Like, if you get your email in by the end of the show tomorrow, you're going to be fine. But after the show tomorrow, I'm going to go home. I'm going to sort through all of them, and there are several hundred at least. And it's that way every year. And, so if you don't get picked, it's nothing personal. But what we always ask you to do is email in 25 words or less to Mike D at 1010XL.com why you deserve a spot in the league. And some people hear that, and then they send me 50 words, and that just goes right in the bin. And that's just the way it is. And you've got to include your full name, your phone number, the days you're available to draft, which we're drafting next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on each of those. Anyway, there's a full Twitter thread. I'll retweet it today. If you're not sure, go read that. Don't send anything until you read that in its entirety. And I'm thinking about doing an international, or maybe not an international, but an outside of Jacksonville division where everybody other than people like ourselves who are in all the leagues are from outside, because somebody sent us a good one, Tone, from Canada.
Okay.
And it was something along the lines of Dempsey, gone swishing. Right, which is that was a logo I came up with in junior high that I've mentioned on the show before, right? But they wanted to show, said Tony, all tomato diet, right?
True.
Pocket spaghetti without the meatballs.
So
right?
nuts.
McManus, dad bods, and they just went through all the different things to prove that they really do listen to the show day in, day out. And I already told that one person, you can expect an invite. That was pretty impressive. And they're from Canada, and I've gotten them from all over the place. We've gotten them from all over Europe and South America. So we may go that route when we finally decide. But that'll come up tomorrow. Let's get Steve in Melbourne up next here on Jaguars Today. Wants to talk Trevor Lawrence. Steve, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing, Dave?
Doing good.
I got a question mainly for you. I listened to Dan Orlovsky's little video he put on X about Trevor Lawrence. Hey, this is the Trevor Lawrence everybody wants to see. If the Jaguars get this on a consistent basis, which consistency has been a thing for him, this team will go far. He might make a race for MVP and just so on and so forth. Just want to get your thoughts. And also, I've noticed throughout the preseason that they've been doing a lot more under center as to shotgun, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. 'Cause he's looking good from out under center than constantly being in shotgun.
Yeah, well, I am sorry. I'm a little bit of an old guy where it comes to we're always doing everything in shotgun. Can we get under center? Like, they don't even teach the young kids that anymore. You don't learn it until you get to the NFL, and how many guys get there. So, but yes, Dan Orlovsky's talk about Trevor. I've been saying that. I think Trevor last year, the way he started out, he was trending that direction. 8-3, like you were saying. He has to get his name in the MVP race is where I feel like his next step is. And last year, I thought that he was trending that way, and then everything started to fall apart with injuries. But what we saw in the preseason, that last one, yes, that would get any quarterback in the MVP race. That would get any quarterback being talked about as one of the elite quarterbacks in the league. But that's how you've got to play in the regular season to be those guys. Nobody questions whether Joe Burrow is one of those guys or Mahomes is one of those guys. Even Lamar Jackson is one of those guys. They know they're those guys because they prove it week in and week out. They don't win every game, but they prove it even in the losses that it's not because of me we lost. Like, I kept us in this game. That's what we got to see from our quarterback. Our quarterback has to win ball games. He's supposed to win. Also win ball games that maybe the other team is better than us, but he steps his game up so much that he raises everybody's level of ability out there. But then also in losses, when we do have a loss or two, he should still look really good. So that's where I'm at with Trevor. He has all the ability. We've talked about that. He's got the size. He's even got the ability to run when he needs to, arm strength. He's got weapons. Like, let's see you take that step this year to where you're at a high level.
I saw John Shipley Saturday tweet out Trevor was 4 of 5, I think, for 44 yards on passes from under center. From a offensive standpoint, what is the difference made for the whole scheme of whatever you want to do between lining your quarterback up under center versus what NFL offense has become so much of, playing from the shotgun? Mm-hmm. San Francisco is one of the few teams that it feels like really plays from under center, anymore. What is that doing to how you have to run your offense?
Well, I think we talk about it all the time. We talk about scheming guys open, giving guys different looks, giving defenses different looks. If you're continuously in the shotgun, first of all, your DNs, and your rush guys know where you are back there in the pocket, so that makes it easier for them. But when you're under center, you can do more play action. You can hide the ball better. Guys can't see it, so that means you can draw your, underneath guys up to the line closer because it looks more like run as opposed to just catching, turning, and giving the little, read action with the back out of the backfield. So the play action looks more aggressive when you are under center and you're doing the fake. So now you can take these shots down the field. You can get Brian Thomas Jr. open. You got a lot of things under your arsenal. You're trying to build your arsenal of weaponry so that at any moment in time, the defense doesn't know what you're doing. So they're off just a little bit so that you can hit that shot over the head, or you can get more holes open for your running back because you don't look the same every time you come out.
Yeah, they better be able to run it to some degree, or else a lot of that goes out the window because they start disrespecting that aspect.
And it helps so much more when your quarterback now boots away, but you don't know if he has the ball, so you wait just a second, and that's all ETN needs is just a little second of the DN holding his ground because he doesn't know if the quarterback has the ball, and he squeezed through a hole, in the defensive line.
All right, we had John Shipley on earlier today talking about a number of Jaguar issues, but particularly because the Trevis Gipson trade went down. Here's the Jags, by the way, announced it, and it said, here's the full statement. The Jacksonville Jaguars have traded defensive end Trevis Gipson to the Seattle Seahawks for draft pick compensation, the team announced today. That's from the Jags themselves, so it's a little weird, that phrasing. But draft pick compensation, which we were speculating, Tony, is it Trevis Gipson in the 7th for a Seattle 6th, provided he makes the roster, or something like that. I mean, that's what I think this smells like. But Shipley tweeting out, because Doug Peterson is speaking right now. Here's Doug on this front. Quote, when you have good players and other teams have needs, you're going to listen, which insinuates that Seattle came calling. Trevis has done an outstanding job for us. I think it's a good situation for him. He called it a win-win. Then he went on to say about Miles Cole. Miles has really improved. DJ Coleman is another one who's improved a little bit. It's what you want in terms of development being their goal. So are those guys going to make the 53? Are they both? Is one of them? Miles Cole was a draft pick this year. I would assume at least one of these guys is on the 53 now.
Yeah.
If this is really what the impetus was, that you felt like Trevis Gipson was expendable.
Yeah, coach not announcing which of the guys that is yet. Obviously, with the answer this morning, that'll all be answered here in the next day or so. And he's going to be talking again tomorrow with Trent Baalke about whatever the decisions finally get made on the 53. And you don't have to announce it today. Necessarily, but we'll see what direction they want to go with any of that. I did see Peterson also talking about the injury report currently for the football team. Christian Kirk feeling good, said he's going to be back on the practice field for him this week. Did mention Daniel Thomas, the safety, still day-to-day. So we'll see about his availability against Miami still.
All right. So Dave, after the preseason as a whole, how do you feel about the Jags compared to how you felt, let's say, a month ago?
Yeah, no, I feel really good about the way the Jags look defensively, offensively. Do we still have, like we've been talking about, some areas of a little bit of concern? Yes, but I think they will answer that, and it might be a little bit of the same. We did have an 8-3 record at one point last year, so even with our not so good bright spots, we still were able to show that we can still play with anybody. As long as our quarterback is playing, above board. The moment he comes back to average is when all those things look even worse. So Trevor can play like a elite quarterback in this league. That is going to help a lot of things. Not meaning it's going to give you a bunch of wins, but it should give you a number of wins because we have enough of a team to be able to beat a lot of other teams.
Tony, arrow up, arrow down, arrow sideways.
I am breathing sighs of relief that we've now gone 2 weeks of the preseason and no one's called to ask about play calling. That seems fun.
That is good.
Here in Jacksonville, the sideline play calling seems to be working. Yeah, arrow up for me.
If you had only scored 10 against Atlanta with your first team offense, those calls would have been coming in.
If we had
how
3 and
dare
out,
you?
like,
right?
oh
my gosh! But hey, look, obviously, looks like Evan Ingram's poised for a big season. Let's hope we get Christian Kirk healthy for week 1. They seem to indicate that that'll be the case, but I think a lot of people feel like, hey, if Parker Washington's got to play a more significant role this year,
okay,
he's ready to go.
Yeah.
Let's get Brian Thomas involved early and often as well, and let's hope that this offensive line performs as well against first-teamers when they get that opportunity in 13 days as they did against the backups last Friday night. All right, with that, Dylan, let's put a bow on it.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers, the exclusive provider of BioTarget regenerative therapy for pain. Visit GoBioTarget.com for a location near you.
Tony might have mentioned this a second ago, went over my head. Peterson said Christian Kirk feeling good will practice this week. So there you go.
Yes. The Lord.
He wished me right there. He wished me. All right, we've got Taylor Dahl here. Hello, Taylor.
Hello. How you doing?
We're good.
I'm great. I just scared Pockets on accident coming. That made him jump pretty good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why we got to bring it up?
I'm like that, man. My wife, she needs to be like rattling pans when she walks in the house.
Letting you know she's coming around the corner.
I am. I'm that guy. Like if I don't expect you to be there and you're there, I am jump scare guy. I'm definitely that. So what do you make of the Jags agreeing to trade away a guy that we all thought was the primary backup at edge rusher?
Yeah, I don't love it. I'm a big Trevis fan. Doug spoke recently, obviously. We'll talk about some of that sound of why he felt it was a win-win for the Jags and Seattle. I guess a win-win-win, Jags, Seattle, and Trevis Gipson. It's an interesting move. I think it shows that they like a guy like Miles Cole, or maybe I always forget how to say his name, Otomowo. How do you say it?
Otomowo.
Otomowo.
That's how I say it.
Otomowo. Or Miles Cole. Those are the two that I'm guessing they have seen enough out of, and it seems like maybe they thought that it wasn't too far of a gap between that, and so you get a draft pick out of someone like Trevis, and they feel like they could take advantage of that. So, I mean, from the Jags side, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to watch, but I think it did mess up a lot of depth chart predictions.
Oh, they're all wrecked.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a 53-man roster projection that didn't have Trevis Gibson on it. So what is the helmets and heels itinerary today?
So a lot. Obviously going to talk about that Jags game. We talked when we were on Crosstalk on Friday, and I told you I wanted to see a boop, boop, boop touchdown. I saw that, so that was fun.
It's close to that.
It was pretty close to the
9
boop, boop,
plays
boop.
it in 17.
Yeah.
Yes,
It
exactly.
ain't 3, but all right, all right.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We also have Myles Garrett, not that Myles Garrett, but Fox 5 Atlanta Myles Garrett, to talk about that Florida State loss. That was a big one, and I know Noles fans are hurting, so we'll talk about that. We also have we did a depth chart prediction pre-camp. Now we're going to do our post-camp prediction before cuts start really getting out there.
Of course, you waited until after Trevis Gibson.
Yeah, right.
Well, we didn't know it was going to happen.
Just kidding. You should have. Nobody knew it was going to happen, obviously. All right, Taylor, have a great show.
Thank you.
Helmets and heels coming your way for the next couple of hours right here on 1010XL. Dave, what you going to do for Labor Day weekend? Anything exciting?
No, it always comes around. I'm like, it's Labor Day weekend.
Get an extra day to not do anything.
I'll put some shrimp on the Barbie.
There you go. And we'll see you 2 weeks from today for what we hope is the first official Victory Monday. We got some special Victory Monday shirts that if they win, we'll break them out. And
love swag.
We got swag, and we got it for the listening audience as well this year. So that'll do it for us today. Keep it tuned right here to 1010XL. You'll get all the different points of view on the decision to deal Trevis Gibson today, what that means for the 53-man roster, and obviously looking back on the Jags 31-0 win over Atlanta to wrap up the preseason. For Tony Smith and David Garrard and Dylan Denmark, thanks to John Shipley for joining us. I'm Mike Dempsey. We'll check the tape with Jeff Lageman tomorrow here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
He's all going to bring us at least 3 championships.
Jaguars Today.